Ladies and gentlemen, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market in general are back in the hurt locker. It seems like it hasn't been out of the hurt locker for the last 2 or 3 weeks. It's just getting a bit exhausting at this point. We've just been testing macro support zones for a long period of time, and the most frustrating part about it, I suppose, is not much is happening. It's like it seems like a lot's happening, but really it's just the same old stuff. We've got a macro support zone. We'll just jump straight into it, really. We've got a macro support zone at 61k. We know that very well. We're looking at the monthly chart right now, and we can see very clearly that 61k is the monthly chart level. If we go back to 2021, the highest ever monthly candle close, horizontally speaking, added support in that 61k region. And not only did it add support, it actually was really the foundation of support. What added support was the recent price action. In the last 3 months, we've seen repeated retests of 61k, and for the most part, it's held on every single occasion, really, except for this brief occasion back here, where we dipped down to 57k, and the reason we did that is because we went back and retested some dynamic levels, such as this massive ascending support line on the macro Bitcoin chart stemming from 2011, which was lurking at that period of time at 57,000. In fact, we'll move it down to it adjust perfectly there, 57,000 as you can see, and also in that price region was the bull market support band at the time, and also the pi cycle center lines at the time. Now, those lines again are being viciously retested. They haven't quite been dropped below yet. In fact, we held above them on the recent weekly and monthly candle closes. We're going to discuss this today. We're going to discuss why Bitcoin's going down again. Why is it going down again? Why is this happening? Let's get into it in a second. But before we do so, let's check out the Bitunix and Bingx exchanges. Guys, look at the screen here. Sign up, where I've just highlighted, sign up to win 5,500 USDT. That's right. If you sign up to the Bitunix exchange with my referral link down below, you'll get a chance to win up to 5,500 USDT. It's quite likely you'll get something. And Bingx is the exact same story. Use my link below and you'll get 4,000 at a maximum. These are, sign up bonuses. They're not guaranteed, but they are certainly there. And what is guaranteed is if you sign up using my referral link to either of these exchanges, which by the way are global non-KYC, meaning you can sign up from anywhere in the world, you will get a 15% trading fee discount for life exclusively with my referral link, making the already very cheap fees even cheaper. So check them out down below. The links are all there for you. Let's dive straight back into the content. So there is some fear in the cryptocurrency market. There's no doubt about that. There's fear and also general boredom. People are quite bored. People were expecting this to get a lot more exciting by around this time. And that expectation is probably misguided, I think. We moved up too fast on Bitcoin. That's the simple reality. ETFs came out. ETFs led to a rally very, very soon. We were meant to actually, if we were going to follow the cyclical structures perfectly, and I spoke about this for extensively at the time, we were meant to reject at 49k and go sideways or down until around September at the earliest, right? At the earliest September, possibly even November. That's what we were meant to do from a regular cyclical structure. But the ETF narrative and the ETF hype was too much, and Bitcoin just surged upwards to all-time highs way earlier than expected, 250 days earlier than expected, or earlier than what we've previously seen. So it's not really surprising, if you think about it, that Bitcoin's been going sideways for so long. It's not really surprising at all, really. I mean, we overvalued. That's the simple reality. We were overvalued. We went up too fast. What is concerning, though, is that we know for a fact, as analysts, that price doesn't really matter. It's structure that matters. And regardless of where we are, and regardless of the context that led us to get there, if we break below the critical levels, we break below the critical levels. And in this case, the critical levels are fundamental to maintaining the predictive capabilities of the prior historical trends, meaning that if we break below, in this case, 61,000 properly, we lose the validity of the historical trends, and we lose the ability to predict further upside price action on Bitcoin. We lose the ability to predict a bull market here. That's the reality, right? So don't worry about price, don't worry about percentage, worry about structure. And the structure currently is intact, right? We know, as I just mentioned, 61k is currently intact. We know, as I mentioned in previous videos, and I'll mention it again today, that the 5-step pattern on the total 3 cryptocurrency market cap chart is still intact for now, because we're still currently holding this ascending support line in blue. And that is kind of, in my opinion, the last leg of this structural trend. If we lose that support line in blue, we lose the structural trend for the most part. And we lose all future predictability for the total 3 cryptocurrency market cap chart, which means we lose all future predictability for altcoins, because this is the altcoin market cap chart. So any altcoins you hold, they're only really not gambling as long as this chart remains intact. Let me say that again, right? The altcoins you're holding right now, expecting further upside price action in an altcoin season, that is only not gambling if this chart remains intact, right? That's why this is important, because we're retesting the level right now. And so far it's holding, so far nothing's happened, so far we're still intact macro. But the fact that we're constantly retesting it, of course, is raising eyebrows. People are getting concerned. And we see, for example, that on the Bitcoin 3-day chart, we're looking at the Gaussian channel, and we see that, of course, the Gaussian channel, how it works is that when you enter the Gaussian channel, you generally move through the Gaussian channel. Now, that's concerning because we've entered the Gaussian channel and a lot of people are saying we're going to move through it or we're likely to do so. Now, the good news is the 3-day chart on the Gaussian channel is not particularly accurate. I mean, even if we're just looking at the most recent data point, we can see we entered the Gaussian channel. We didn't even move through it, right? We moved below the center line, consolidated, and then went upwards. And interestingly enough, that happened at a similar period of time to what we're seeing right now. What I mean by that is we're seeing a similar macro structure right now to what we were seeing right here. So for example, we had the rounding bottom, we moved upwards into a rounding top, we formed a horizontal channel formation with 2 retests of the bottom and 3 retests of the top, leading to a breakout upside. We are seeing that exact same pattern right now. Rounding bottom, rounding top, horizontal channel, 2 retests of the bottom, 2 retests of the top, and a third one coming potentially with a breakout to the upside. So I'm not particularly concerned about the Gaussian channels. I understand that a lot of them are being entered right now, especially this 3-day chart one, which is raising some eyebrows across my community specifically. It doesn't really concern me too much, and it's not like I can really do anything about it. Because if I was to sit here and say that, oh yeah, this is so concerning and this is so bad, we need to get out of the market, why would I get out of the market here? Literally, why would I sell at 60K? When I know there's so much support in this price region, and if I just wait for an extra like 3 or 4, 5% drop, I'll just sell then, and then I'll actually have the confirmation. There's just no reason to sell right here. Like, wait for the extra drop downwards and get the confirmation first. The macro structures are still intact for now. That's the simple reality. And look, I'm not going to sit here and say there's heaps of good signs. There's not really. I mean, we've just constantly been retesting these zones just for seemingly no reason. Like, I don't really necessarily understand what the selling pressure is here. I'm kind of a bit, I'll be honest, flabbergasted. I don't really know what's going on in terms of where this bearish narrative is coming from. Is it just a lack of bullish narrative? What are the narratives right now? Like, what's the bearish narrative? The traditional markets are so good. All the economic data we saw last month was superb. Rate cuts are coming in 2 months. This should be a period of time where we start to rally. Maybe after rate cuts, that's when you can justify a bearish narrative, because that could be a sell the news event. When rate cuts come, there's no anticipation for rate cuts. There's nothing to look forward to. Therefore, the market drops. But right now, we're still in the anticipation phase. And you can see that come through very clearly with traditional markets. You look at the S&P 500, it's just in an aggressive uptrend, really. I mean, it's breaching new all-time highs consistently. And during the period of time where Bitcoin's been going sideways, guys, Bitcoin's been going sideways now for a long period of time, since here on traditional markets, basically. Traditional markets have moved upwards 600 points. S&P has moved upwards 12%, and Bitcoin remains sideways. Not only sideways, but Bitcoin is actually down, right? S&P's up 12% from the start of February. Bitcoin's down 20% from the start of February. Or let's just, I should have actually said March, but even if I said March, the case still remains, right? It realistically was the start of March, so maybe it's a little bit more similar, but it's really not at all. I mean, even if we're looking at from March, let's just clarify here, from March, let's just say middle of March, we entered this range, S&P's still up with 7%, and it's at a higher high, okay? From early March, Bitcoin is down 20%, and it's at a low, okay? It's at the low of the range. So there is significant deviation right now between S&P and Bitcoin. I don't know what the bearish narrative is here. I don't think anyone really does. So it is a little bit concerning to see the price drop for that reason. Luckily, I shouldn't say that, because luckily the price hasn't really dropped yet. We're still intact macro-wise, and I hope we remain that way, because it would be quite concerning if we don't, considering I know what the narrative is that is dragging us downwards, I don't. Yeah, okay, Mt. Gox. Yeah, okay, Germany's selling. These aren't big narratives, though. These things have been dragging on for literally, in the case of Mt. Gox, literally years. So I don't really see them as big narratives personally, and I don't see them as cause for significant deviations. Which is another reason why it's concerning, because if Bitcoin did drop below these macro ranges, it's like, how long are these bearish narratives really going to stick around for? You know, we've already seen Mt. Gox pay back a significant amount. You know, I don't know. It's a little bit concerning to me that I personally, and I look at every other analyst that I know, you know, all the analysts I speak to very regularly, they don't really know what's happening either. You know, all we have to do right now, in my opinion, is trust charts. That's all we can do. At the end of the day, regardless of what these narratives are, regardless of what these fundamental events are, FA, fundamental analysis, is always reflected in the TA. So fundamental analysis is really the middleman. You can cut straight to the chase and look at the charts. Everything that happens in the news is going to be reflected in the charts. And right now that's the case. We just don't know exactly what that news is, but we know whatever it is, it's being reflected in the charts. And right now the charts are on macro support still. So it's a good sign at this point. We haven't broken anything yet, but it is getting to the point where, you know, again, we've been retesting this level, this specific 61K level for like 9 days now. It's getting a little bit exhaustive. And I look at the hourly chart and I see a bit, you know, some interesting PA to say the least. I mean, we've flipped, not only have we dropped below these 61.2K and 60.5K, we've also flipped that level now. We want to be getting above that level as soon as possible. But what am I looking at mainly? Again, I'm looking at weekly closes, monthly closes. You know, again, as I've said last week, it's really the monthly chart level. So realistically, we want to be seeing monthly chart closes. But obviously, if Bitcoin just continues dropping, we can't really justify waiting 3 weeks for the monthly close. We have to act. So again, I'm looking at total 3 as well for that reason. Total 3 is going to give us a more short-term indication of what's going on. If the total 3 breaks below this level decisively with a volume surge and flips it, for example, that's a sign to get the hell out. But until then, the macro levels are still holding. Nothing has actually happened yet, which again, just adds to my frustration. It's like, we don't necessarily know what is happening. And also, we've been lurking around the price region that's so important for a while, and yet nothing's actually happening. Realistically, this is an accumulation zone. I want to get that very clear. You know, from TA metrics, this is an accumulation zone. Some people don't want to accumulate. They've lost too much money. They're too scared to. That's fine. You don't have to. You can wait for the break back to the upside. You know, Bitcoin breaking above this yellow resistance line, or breaking above 67K, or breaking the descending channel on the daily chart RSI. These are all going to be bullish triggers. You can wait until that occurs. But I want to make it very clear. We are on macro support, and realistically, being on macro support is a sign for accumulation. There are fractals playing out. Again, the fractal I spoke about before from last year. It's not like we're bearish at all. It's just a little bit, I guess, stressful just being in this dangerous zone for so long. So there's nothing really I can offer you other than discussion. I can't offer you any real clarity about what is causing this, unfortunately. I just can't. All I can say is that Bitcoin is continuously, it seems like perpetually, on the edge here. And we need to bounce. That's all I can say. And you're probably sick of hearing me saying that by now, but that's all I can say, really. So guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Go ahead and check out the VIP group on Telegram. We have a sale right now, okay? A mid-year sale. There's 4 days remaining, a $90 discount on VIP membership. We post trading signals in there. You get access to a group chat. Check it out if you're interested. Again, we have a sale, so it's a limited time for a discounted price. Go ahead and do that if you're interested. And then finally, of course, again, if you are interested in learning how to trade, you know, an educational course, if you want to teach yourself how to trade through this course, you can utilize it, right? And it's there. There's a bull market sale, just like the VIP group. We've got a discounted price for a limited time, and you can take advantage of that. You can learn how to chart up the market. You can learn how to trade for yourself. So you know what you're doing, right? So you're not relying on YouTube videos. You actually know what you're doing for yourself. You can watch YouTube videos and kind of, you know, judge the analysis in the YouTube videos with your own knowledge, right? This is what we should be doing. If you want to actually make money in this market, you need to learn it for yourself. It is a skill at the end of the day, and you need to learn it if you want to be super successful in this market. So go ahead and check it out if you're interested, guys. Discounted price for a limited time. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you guys tomorrow with an update on the price action.